Well, despite clear indications over the last few months of all not being well between the Maldives and India at a political level, there are visible signs of enhancement in India's support mechanisms for the Maldives. Reports say India has actually doubled down on developmental projects and assistance.
Indian troops stationed in Maldives to leave the country completely by May this year. A development that was expected to completely tip the boat. But India shows that neighbourhood diplomacy cannot work that way. Rather than the expected pull-out on support parameters, India has doubled down, stepped up development assistance, increased allocations and expanded spending. New Delhi has spent nearly $93 million on projects in the Maldives during this fiscal year, which ends in March according to an Indian official and government documents. That's more than 4 times that was spent in the previous year. The efforts include a $500 million project for roads and bridges around Malé and 2 airports worth nearly $130 million each in the archipelago's distant islands, supported through a line of credit from India. India's spend on projects in the Maldives is second only to Bhutan. India has set aside $69 million in initial allocation for Maldivian projects next year. Keep in mind the backdrop of what amounted to Muizzu's brazen provocations against New Delhi in the Indian Ocean region. Mohamed Muizzu broke with tradition and made his first foreign visit after election to Ankara and not to erstwhile closely allied New Delhi. The message was loud and clear. On a visit to Beijing, Muizzu signed a slew of agreements, many of which favour China over India. As an Indian delegation visited Malé for talks, Muizzu announced that he wanted Indian troops out of the country. Chinese research vessel Xiangyang Hong 03 docked in the Maldives, setting alarm bells ringing in New Delhi over spying concerns. The row over Indian tourists visiting Maldives vis-à-vis the Lakshadweep Islands in India has meant more Chinese than Indian tourists in the Maldives this year, a first in decades. It has even extended to medical services. Emergency medical care in the form of air ambulances that came from India will now come from Sri Lanka from the 1st of March. Down the decades, India has often played first mover in emergency situations in the Maldives. And given the dire economic situation, India has refused to let things change. It's the story of an age-old neighbourhood political and culture affinity that the newest incumbent to the Maldives presidency decided had outlived its purpose. Is that yet another aspect of Muizzu's immaturity on shore? Bureau Report, WION World is One.